これは俺からの楽しいプレゼントカブトムシビートルトルーズ。
Remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. What's up everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami from the Toku Animation News Network, and today I'm taking a look at the 45th Super Sentai series. The first Sentai series to air after COVID, Kikai Sentai Zenkaija! To celebrate its 45th series, Toei once again sought Junko Komura to helm the show, given her success with Zyuohger and Lupin Ranger vs. Potts Ranger. One of the originally planned names was Sentai Sentai Sentaiger, before Toei realized that was probably not a great move, changing it to Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger. Unlike Gokaiger, the decision was made for Zenkaiger to not feature a multitude of crossovers with past teams, instead relegating those to the movies while having attacks just be a reference of some sort to those previous shows. I'm quite glad they didn't just copy Gokaiger, but at the same time, is Zenkaiger worthy of the anniversary slot, or should this one have been locked away for something better? Watch to find out. The heroes. Like Zyuohger, Zenkaiger features only one human character while the rest are aliens for our main heroes. At the start of the series, we are informed that the multiverse has gone under attack by an evil robotic empire called Toji Tendo, unlike their cousin Nintendo, who brings joy to the multiverse. Toji Tendo controls a system that allows them to lock each universe up into a single tiny device called a gear, where they will be preserved for eternity.
それは突然のことだった。
When they come to the Zenkaiger universe, something goes awry with their machine, requiring them to invade the planet the old-fashioned way. At the same time, the citizens of Kikai World, who are enslaved by Toji Tendo, find themselves mysteriously transported to Earth.
私たちの世界が平行世界キカイトピアと混ざってから1ヶ月、この風景も今ではすっかり日常となりました。そもそもキカイノイドの皆さんは移住を考えていたんですか?
Within a month, they acclimate to Earth society and become a part of it. It's quite similar to the ending of Zyuohger, where the Jumin world ended up merging with the human world, requiring everyone to coexist. This ends up leading to a lone 20-year-old named Kaito Goshikida. Befriending a quartet of Kikanoids. Together, they become the Zenkaigers. I do find Kaito being the sole human of the team quite interesting, and it does set the show apart from others. It also helps that Kita Komagane is a strong enough actor to carry the show on his own, as someone weaker would have resulted in disaster. Kaito is a lovable character who always tries to see the positives of the world, and does not hesitate at all to protect people from Toji Tendo's invasion. It is revealed that Kaito's parents were notable scientists who theorized there was a vast multiverse out there and then disappeared 10 years prior to the show's premiere. Kaito put his own needs aside to help his lamenting grandma, especially to keep her sweets shop colorful open. All the equipment Kaito and the Kikanoids operate to become the Zenkaigers were left behind by Kaito's parents, which were based on other Sentai teams the duo discovered throughout the multiverse. If you cannot tell, Zenkaiger's design is based on Gold Ranger mixed with a color scheme to match Big One from Jaka. According to the show's producer, this was to ensure he would stand out from the rest of the Red Rangers in future crossovers. Either way, it's a bold move and one that worked in the show's favor. I do like how Kaito, learning all the previous teams had a Red Ranger, becomes a momentary struggle for him, pondering his worth of being the leader until he is greeted by other leaders who were either White Rangers or had white in their color scheme.
リーダーは赤に限るってこと？割と白い。
私たちはそれぞれの戦隊のリーダー。姿形、男も女も関係ない。大切なのは心よ。
Although, it was kind of weird to hear this from a man who always strives to be the first at doing something. Our Kikanoid heroes include Juran, Galan, Majine, and Vroom. As with Zenkaiser, these guys represent a different series as well, those being Zyuranger, Gaoranger, Magiranger, and Bokenger. I'm a bit confused on some of their choices for series representation. I totally get Gaoranger and Bokenger because they were anniversary series, and Zyuranger makes a bit of sense given its connection to Power Rangers. However, why Magiranger? Why not pick a series from the 80s so that every decade of Sentai got a portrayal in some manner? I'm honestly surprised he did not go with Bioman or even Changeman, considering it was popular enough to get 55 episodes. Was it because Magiranger is the only series that had a connection to magic, given the others represented dinosaurs, vehicles, and animals, and every show from the 80s would have just repeated that? Whatever the case may be, I do find it sad that the 80s went by ignored. Moving on, I rather like how the base form of the quartet looks similar to how the Rangers of those series dressed. Juran has what appears to be the shorts and vest Geki wore, Galan dons a Gaoranger-like jacket, Majine resembles Hoka Az, while Vroom has the colors that match the SGS jackets. When they transform, they look similar to the main mechs of each series. Thinking about it, Vroom looks more like Transformers Armada Optimus Prime than he does Daiboken.
I am Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. And our mission is simple. To destroy the Decepticons.
They all have unique personalities and are a bunch of likable characters. However, their sole purpose is to assist Kaito and allow him to shine. Their character growth stems from their premiere episode and not much beyond that except in the case of Galan. In the very beginning, Galan is quite racist towards other Kikanoids and only cares about saving humans, who he finds to be adorable. In time, he does come to realize how wrong that line of thinking was, especially when he finds himself unwilling to help a Kikanoid child who has fallen over, while he is always caring for humans that are injured. He's also the hothead of the group, often leaping headfirst into trouble, which is the opposite as to how he was in the beginning since he was initially reluctant to become a Zenkaiger. Juran is the dad-like character, always trying to protect them to the best of his abilities and give them advice.
So 一人でみんなを起こし続けるのは体力も。そこは根性でカバーよ。俺はほら、そういう世代のイケオジなんで。ありがとにゃ、ジュラン。
It is fitting since he represents the oldest Sentai series of the four. Majine was a lonely child, afraid to interact with others and tries too hard to rely on her crystal ball for advice. She had become friends with Juran in the past when she was the new kid on the block, as it were. She is also quick to anger when something does not go her way, a feat the villains learn is not in their best interests. Vroom started the series off being Toji Tendo's janitor, but desiring knowledge landed him on Earth's surface. He spent many hours at the library trying to learn about Earth's culture. One thing that is quite funny about Vroom is his body is detachable as he can split at the torso, which allows for some great moments of comedy. Juran is voiced by Shintaro Asanuma, who is Crow in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
頑張ってんのによ。
今のはジュランの圧が強すぎ。
圧？だってよ。あんな海賊一家と仲間だなんて思われたくねえだろ、ぶっちゃけ。
Yuki Kaiji as Galan. Most people will probably know Kaiji as Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan, and Koichi Hirose in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
荷物重たそうだね。僕が持ってってあげるよ。
悪いな。いいでしょ。
全然。
Majine is portrayed by Yume Miyamoto. Miyamoto was also Rika in SSSS Gridman and Nika in Gundam the Witch from Mercury.
おじちゃんに会えてはちゃめちゃ安心したっす。だって気づいたら知らない世界にいるし、キノコ生えるし、世界は凍るし、意味わかんなくて心細すぎて。
Finally, we have Vrooms, Takuya Sato. Sato has gone on to voice Zeppeli in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Yukanda in D-Grayman, and Luin Lee in Gundam Reconquista in G.
いや、なんだか緊張して。なんでしょう。これまでに感じたことのない
Kaito's grandma Yatsude and a bird robot created by Kaito's parents named Setchan act as the team's mentor-like characters. Both of them give advice when needed. Yatsude also tries to see the positives in life no matter how troubling they are to her and champions her grandson's choices.
偉い人を現場に引きずり出すにはもうめ事よ年の子
Setchan will often dive into the computer located in a hidden room to learn all about the Sentai teams the Zenkaigers have access to through a gear system. The gears are inserted into a gun that is used for them to transform. On top of this, it will give them various abilities based on whatever Sentai gear they are using. This could be anything from moving faster, knowing the fight style a team used, to even recreating an entire scenario from a show's ending into a tasteless joke.
今の幻覚なんで白いベンチがあと幻覚なのにお腹が痛い
I am not fucking amused. Kaito acquires a cannon of swords that allows him to summon copy versions of the other Sentai teams based on certain stats. The final attack is also quite strong, requiring the Kikinoids to hold Kaito in place due to its kickback. I should mention that Yatsude is played by singer Ikue Sakakibara, who had a song of hers featured in Sun Vulcan way back in the day.
ある意味あんたたちを信用してんだと思うよ自分も同じ機械ノイドだから
Meanwhile, Masato Fukuen voices Setchan, and she has done the likes of Chibi Usa in Sailor Moon Crystal, Iggy in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and Himiko in My Hero Academia.
前回の前回じゃわいろいろあってステイシーザーを倒せそうだったその時変な人が現れて勝利をかっさらっていったっちゅう
Zenkaiger's Sixth Ranger is Zox Goldseeker.
海賊のパワー
Zox, his sister Flint, and the two brothers Ricky and Kataner have come from the universe called Piratopia to pillage and plunder the only remaining world that is known to be free. Well, that and they are trying to find a specific universe Toji Tendo imprisoned called SD World, because Kataner and Ricky have been turned into SD beings through a curse they received when they tried to steal from that world. Oh my god! They ripped off Conan the Adventurer, who had a wizard that had his brother and sister turn into wolves. Getting turned into SD beings wasn't a total loss, as it allows them to enhance their brother's transformation capabilities that were pirated off of Toji Tendo's gear system and the Gokaigers. Zox transforms using a gun with a ship wheel on it while dancing. After he has become two Kaiser, either Ricky or Kataner will combine with him to give him abilities related to O-Ranger and Shikinger. With his O-Ranger form, Zox performs a myriad of melee attacks. Inherently, Shikinger focuses on sword attacks. I do think the concept behind Zox was a neat idea. A pirate who has a form pirated from pirates is nothing short of brilliance. He also utilizes the powers of the previous 6 Rangers.
Let's go! Yamabiko Dono Koji!
Zox is also a manga lover.
人を誘い出せるほどの傑作漫画を素人が簡単に描けると思うなよ。
Flint is a genius as well, and the whole family dynamic adds an extra layer of camaraderie to the team, akin to the likes of Fiveman and Gogo 5. On the other hand, Zox is pretty much by the book as to who would expect a 6th Ranger loner to go when it comes to working with the other Zenkaigers. He ends up losing a bet with Kaito, which stops him from trying to rob the world of its treasures. He also comes to respect the Zenkaigers and will often help them even if it ends up being a loss for him. I also love Flint's enthusiasm to make up new weapons for her family and the Zenkaigers, as we see her do with an upgrade form that is given to both Kaito and Zox called Kaiju Gears. Kaito's Kaiju form has him encased in armor that resembles Dragon Caesar, once again showing love towards the show that puts Sentai in the public eye in America. Zox's armor is based on V-Resh from Time Ranger, though it is not a full-blown suit like it was for Kaito. The reasoning behind this is because Kaito's Kaiju gear was the one Flint and Setchan worked on together, while Zox's is a bootleg Flint made herself for him. There is also a really great moment when we sort of see Flint don the Two Kaiser suit, I say sort of because it's an episode where a monster has switched Zox and Flint's minds. Atsuki Masahiko, Hinami Mori, Satsumi Matsuda, and Ryota Suzuki make up our Gold Seeker family.
お前、俺に勝てると思ってんの？百戦錬磨の海賊の俺に？勝つよ。
If you have seen Killer Major's Yodana specials, specifically the 3rd episode, you probably recognize Mori as she was Yodana's love interest there. Matsuda and Suzuki have had their voices featured in several anime series including Precure, Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, Miss Kuraicho in the Monster Development Department, and My Hero Academia.
住人がみんなこんな格好の世界だ。
俺ら2人、そん時ちょっとしくじっちゃってさ。
気づいたらこの姿に変えられていた。SD トピアの呪いだよ。
Finally, the Zenkaigers do cross paths with the characters from Kamen Rider Saber at one point. Same goes for Don Mamotaros. The villains. As already established, the villains of Zenkaiger are called the Toji Tendo Dynasty. They're universe-collecting beings who want to turn everything into a Toji gear because that's what they want to do. I know I called the villain leaders in both Zyuohger and Loot-Pop wallpaper due to how useless they were, but the main villain here is literally a wall. Overlord Bokawaz is his name, and pounding the floor is his game. Seriously, the dude does absolutely nothing but slam his fist into the floor the entire series. Once again, Toei has completely wasted the vocal talents of Joji Nakata, who is given nothing to do here. Then again, I'm sure Nakata has enjoyed being paid to do nothing at all either. Bokawaz's two generals are Bara Shitara and Ijirud. Kenji Nomura is once again tasked with voicing another Sentai villain with Bara Shitara, while Masanori Takeda does Ijirud. Takeda has been Jozak in Kyo Kaomao, Babo in Darker Than Black, among many others.
そもそもワールドができるまでどういう仕様になるかわからんというのが問題である。
Think about that. That's just dumb.
Ijirud is the Thomas Edison of Toji Tendo, for his entire gear system was stolen from Kaito's parents.
俺の母ちゃんたちが作った戦隊ギアだ。
偶然だな。我らの閉じるギアは我が輩が開発したのだ。
It makes you question how many of his accomplishments are actually his own. Beyond giving upgrades to other villains and making mechs, Ijirud is pretty useless. His design does remind me of a villain from the show Captain Power. In fact, I feel like Toji Tendo are just rejects to said show. Badara Shitara puts the shit in shit villains. He's Toji Tendo's field commander who is apparently married over 800 times across a multitude of species and killed every one of his wives. He leads their forces onto the planet and is always angry.
帰るんだろ。俺も連れてけ。
敵地に乗り込むつもりか。
ああ。
だが不可能である。
His biggest accomplishment is birthing a humanoid warrior named Stacy. Stacy is the only villain in this show to receive any sort of character development, but even then he feels like Komura really had no idea what to do with him. He makes his first appearance in episode 7, which is then quickly overshadowed by Zox in episode 8. He will then have a scene or two of doing nothing or thinking about his mom for several episodes before he gets to do something. Then he'll get to do nothing again for another handful of episodes. Thankfully, actor Ryo Sakaguchi is just as strong of an actor as Koma Gane to carry the show on his own.
僕は破壊ザーと五色田海斗にバラしたらと同じことをしているのか。あの憎き父親と同じことを。
Supposedly, the reason Stacy has very little to do with the show is he was a last-minute character. The story goes that Sakaguchi's audition for Kaito was so strong that Toei decided to create a role specifically for him after they decided to offer Koma Gane the part of Kaito. It makes sense for Stacy's premiere, but it doesn't explain the lack of him later in the show, especially given Komura's track record for poorly developed villains. Stacy works because he is the anti-Kaito. Kaito is surrounded by friends and family who love him, while Stacy has no one. He's looked down upon and is only tolerated because he is Badara Shitara's son. He holds no rank in Toji Tendo, therefore he can't even tell most soldiers what to do unless they are specifically ordered to follow him.
Stacy ってそんな偉くないんだ。
It isn't until he meets Kaito's grandma that he finds himself longing to be loved the same way his mother did years ago.
元気なさそうな顔してたからさ、ちょっと寄っていきな、おごってあげるよって声かけてやったのさ。
ありがとうございます。美味しいです。
One of his key attacks as Stay Caesar is being able to summon evil versions of past Rangers and mechs.
今度はフラッシュマンの偽物か。いや。
I do like how when they rise up, it resembles the original toy packaging. Late in the series, he does find himself an ally of sorts, the warrior Ijirud claims to have created named Hakaizer.
機械のパワー、破壊だ。今日もワールドを守るため全力で破壊。
ステイシーザーに続く実験兵士でして、今回は一から作り上げた機械の戦士でございます。一からね。
Hakaizer's job is to protect the monsters, known as worlds, that are sent down to attack Earth. His story is pretty predictable by the point he's introduced. His running out of juice gets annoying.
俺の銃返してもらおう。あ、残念。エネルギーが切れそうだ。またな。あー、ちょっと。あー、やられた。あ、充電の時間だ。
It's sad, but once again, we have another villain who is left untapped. The worlds are beings based on whatever gear was used to bring them to life. As such, when Ijirud uses the gear that holds a world full of mushrooms, Mushroom World is created.
お前に授けてやろう。感じるぞ、君
Oddly enough, the Mario Brothers do not show up in this world. The world themes are quite random and sometimes make little to no sense if Kumara had decided to just make up as many random adventures as possible. There should be an episode dealing with garbage. Trash World! We need to save on money. Let's reuse a monster. Recycle World! There's a Dairy World. That doesn't really look like milk. We've got Ice World. Invisible World. With my favorite being a toss-up between Halloween World. This is Halloween, pumpkin scream in the dead of night. And Retro World because he makes everything look old and grainy. Personally, I think the world should have all been Sentai themed. Each time the Zenkaigers destroyed a gear, they would then acquire that team's abilities, whatever they may be. It would have given the villains more of an impact over just having random themes that made little sense. Not to mention it would have given a reason as to why Stacy had access to evil versions of every Sentai team and mech. When a world is destroyed, a giant mech called a Kudaitas emerges to step on the gear and take on the world's traits. In addition, the city around it will often sprout items related to that world, allowing for some really unique miniatures to occur. My favorites include the Kabuto World one because it allowed the production crew to set the city miniatures up in a forest. The Bowl World fight, as we've got this really cool giant grill just cooking cars and stuff in the middle of the city. And the Halloween World one. There are additional upgraded mechs that appear later in the series, but those don't do anything special beyond just being represented by CGI models. The grunts of Zenkaiger are called Kudaks, and they're just a bunch of generic soldiers wielding staffs that look like they plug into a socket. It is also noted that they have 17 teeth on their faces, which resemble a keyboard. Finally, the last villain needed to be mentioned is a giant parrot Bokawaz adores named Gege. Gege can calm Bokawaz down at any given time by offering him ideas or support, which Butter Sutara and Ijiru often find to their benefit. He is voiced by two different actors as Scumbag. Tatsuhisa Suzuki left halfway through the show after being caught cheating on his wife. He was replaced with Masaya Fukunishi for the remainder of the series.
覗き見るかどうかは君次第。これからトジテンドでどうなりたいかよく考えてからにしなよ。
The mecha. Surprisingly, they kept the mechs to a bare minimum. The main mechs are pretty much our 4 lead Kikinoids grown and transformed. Juran is an ugly as sin T-Rex. Gawan the lion. Majine is a phoenix. And Vroom a dump truck. Two of them combine together to form a single robot, with there being a total of 4 different combinations. The typical combos are Juran and Gawan with Majine and Vroom. They do swap once or twice, which is done in CGI, telling us that Toei did not plan to use those forms more than the times they were shown. They're pretty basic looking, but I do like how their personalities are intact, though it makes one wonder why they bothered to have Kaito go inside of them at all when they can function just fine without him. Towards the end of the show, the cannon I mentioned earlier can also grow big to become a central body to the 4 Kikinoids combine with, which forms another CGI atrocity. Seriously? Could you not be bothered to make an actual suit? Zox's ship can transform into a robot, with either Katana or Ricky taking the helm for what the mech theme will be for the fight. The 2 kaiju forms of Kaito and Zox allow them to also go big to form an overpowered beast that looks like the love child of Dragon Caesar and V-Rex. This is one I don't mind as much, as there is something cool about the overall design. Still, as I said, they're powerful enough to level an entire city, even though the city somehow manages to survive a barrage of missiles like this. There's some more single-use CGI combos. Stacy has a mech, though it's hardly worth recognizing due to how worthless it is. I think he partakes in a mech fight for a total of 6 minutes across the entire show. It's called Battle Caesar Robo and gets destroyed very quickly several times over. The effects and music. Zenkaiger is hands down one of the worst looking Sentai series ever. The music is great, but that was to be expected considering Michiaki Watanabe returned after 30 years to score the show. He perfectly blends in the tones of old with modern techniques to create a really engaging score.
イル圧が上がる。
気遣ってくれてありがとうな。さすがわしの可愛いゲーム。全力で破壊。
お前が地球全体を真っ昼間に変えてたわけね。
なぜ貴様は元気負ける？
地球に住んでないからさ。
There's also one that sounds like a cell phone is ringing to me.
父ちゃん母ちゃんがいじるの研究所に。
ブルーンちゃん、あんた。この子たち、あったのかい
？In a similar vein to Lupot, there is no ending theme, leaving us solely with Takeshi Tsuruno's opening theme, Zenroku Zenkai Zenkaiger. Zenroku Zenkai Zenkaiger feels like it has combined the elements of both an opening and ending song, for it will get you off the couch wanting to dance to it, while also putting you in the mindset of the fun you are about to embark on. It's very well done. Unfortunately, the music has no bearing on the other half of the show that matters, its effects. Kira Major was an absolute marvel when it came to its fight choreography and camera work. There were plenty of fights that were filmed with interesting camera angles, some appeared as if they were done in a single shot, and then we had a grandiose battle with the mech in the background while characters fought in the foreground. It was so revolutionary for the franchise that Zenkaiger said, yeah, we're not gonna do anything like that beyond a few quick sequences. As such, the vast majority of Zenkaiger's fights come off looking lazy and boring. There's very little in the way to get excited about. And that's not even the worst of it. Zenkaiger went absolutely bonkers with the CGI and it makes the show look downright ugly. Toei was so ambitious with what they wanted to do, they didn't stop to think if they should. There are too many chroma keyed backgrounds going on, which look anywhere from mediocre to atrocious. You will see green glows around characters at nearly every second. There are times when the characters, especially the villains, look like they are floating over the ground rather than standing on it. One of the earlier episodes had everything being frozen, and it was so repugnant it completely broke me from the immersion. And later, when the characters were pretending to be sliding, was really bad. The mech battles that occur in a full CGI city look like they're something out of a video game. The city itself is so lifelessly plain. I think the greatest example of this comes from this fight here.
What the hell was that?
I will give them credit for one thing. They can do some wicked stuff with the camera angles in those CGI exclusive mech battles for obvious reasons. Ricky and Katana are often portrayed as CGI characters, and they just look so out of place. Oh my god. Please kill it with fire. Perhaps if the show had a more engaging story that was also full of fantastically shot and choreographed fight sequences, I could have looked past the nightmare-fueled effects. However, it didn't, so I couldn't. Shit, Ultraman Tiga had better CGI. The episodes. If you go into Zenkaiger just expecting mindless fun, you're gonna get that. If you want an actual plot and character development for anyone outside of our lead hero, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Zenkaiger is a very frustrating show on this front. The show is pretty much the Sentai equivalent to Seinfeld. Absolutely nothing happens this entire series. The episodes themselves are just one mind-numbing plot after another. Every episode is very random with nothing but random events happening. It's the opposite to Kira Major, making it feel like a complete downgrade. I applaud Toei for trying something entirely different for a change. I'd rather have them fail at trying something new as opposed to playing it safe. Therefore, I love and hate Zenkaiger at the exact same time. I absolutely despise the constant cliffhangers that led to nothing. We will have an episode, typically with Stacy, that ends on a high note with a great battle about to occur. You're all set with this high energy, ready to see what happens next. The next episode starts up, and within seconds, maybe a minute if you're lucky, the conflict is over, leaving you with a sorrowful taste in your mouth. What the freaking hell was that? That was a complete waste of my time. All of that momentum from the last episode petered away into emptiness. And then it happened again and again to the point where the end of episode cliffhanger battles became a burden, for they trained you to just not even care about them anymore by the second half of the show. Every time an episode ended on one, I sat there like, don't give a crap. It was depressing and really highlights how rotten a writer Komura is. We also had events that occur off screen. For example, a certain character who is imprisoned by Toji Tendo escapes. It states they made their way into another world. Everyone starts searching for this one without success. Episodes later, Kaito and a few others return to Earth at the start of an episode and tell us they were searching for this individual and what a great time they had. None of this was ever shown to us. That character is later found and brought back to Earth off screen. Once again, we have another Ryusoulger-esque situation where they could have spent several episodes having adventures in other worlds looking for this person. Instead, we're just told they did. Why is it so damn hard to show us what is actually happening?
Mitsuko, 見つかんなくて残念だったな。
いつも手伝ってくれてありがとね。またよろしく。ああ。じゃあ、飯でも食って帰るか。
Now, that is not to say there weren't moments to enjoy, as there were a lot of comedy bits to laugh at, including this moment of a world hiding in the trash while Zox and Flint walk by, hoping they don't notice him. I love the introductory episodes where Jurangawa and Majine shoot their guns off the moment they acquired them.
そこの庶民、今度こそスクラップ。よっしゃー。
そうじゃなくて行くぞ。大丈夫か？大丈夫？何してんの？
I did find the scene of Bakawaz and Gege bouncing Barashitara like a ping pong ball amusing.
ただ奴はある意味防御力が高いので倒される確率が非常に低いのであります。時間はかかるが確実に進行を進められるということか。
I do like how this series has fun with the team roll calls.
前回にゃほんだにゃ。
前回マジにゃ。
前回ブルーン
生ゴミパワー全開だ。
粗大ゴミパワー全開
クレンゴミパワー全開ガオー。
全開じゃねえの。
俺ちは何がったの。 SD ヒーロー登場。小さくても5人揃って機械戦隊全開だ。5人揃って機械戦隊全開だ。みんな手出してあれいくよ。あれだよあれ。みんなよろしく全開。5人と君も揃って全開全開だ。ハロハロウィーンハロハ。
There are so many episodes I could say to be my least favorite. I was almost tempted to go with the one that insulted Jetman. Nevertheless, I think the one I hate the most was episode 5, handily molded into a sushi fight. This title describes the plot in a nutshell. Sushi World attacks and starts sticking people to random things as if they were sushi. Kaito and Juran get stuck to a bench, so the remaining trio have to figure out how to save them and everyone else. It's so goddamn stupid and pointless. To make it even more dreadful, we get a Looney Tunes type antic when Kaito uses the Q Ranger gear. My favorite episode is titled Invasion Complete. Now how do we fix this? In this tale, Vacation World successfully conquers the world.
Charles, back against power.
That's it! Series over! The incompetent villain somehow won, which means I get to go now, so bye!
侵略が完了したであります。何？もう一度申してみろ。侵略が完了したであります。なんだとは
Barashitara comes down to Earth to figure out why no one has returned to report in and finds everyone, including the Kudaks and even Akudaitas, just hanging back and relaxing. Aloha!
何をしているクダイタ！
この世界は我々のリゾート地なのです。
The Zenkaizers have a volleyball game with Vacation World.
サーブ全開！
Everything is great. Barashitara is pretty damn pissed about everyone having fun without him, to the point where he destroys Vacation World himself, freeing everyone from their laissez-faire mindset.
タッパのくせに我々より先にバカンスを満喫するなど言語道断畜生である。
You fucking moron! This review was almost done for both of us. Thanks a lot. Koji Tendo had won. Had it not been for Barashitaro's selfishness, it would have stayed that way. Instead, he brought upon his own downfall. It was an ingenious episode that would not have worked under any other series. The movies and specials. Oh boy. To make up for the Kira Major movie not being able to air in the summer of 2020, Toei did a spring festival that included it, a Ryusoulger special, and a Zenkaiger movie set between episodes 6 and 7. This one features Super Bad Guy World, whose design includes faces of some sort from every past main villain. His arms have Bandora and Queen Hidorian, among others on them. His chest includes Donero, Hell Saturn, and Long, and so on. Anyway, Super Bad Guy World brings back past generals and grunts to fight the Zenkaigers, so all of the previous Red Rangers show up to assist the Zenkaigers. It's an okay adventure with a great comment from Kaito I liked at the end. There was a follow-up two-part special to the movie I mentioned earlier, which featured a Red Zenkaiger and normal Bad Guy World. The most notable piece of this duel is that our 4 Kikinoids are briefly turned into humans. They weren't great, but they weren't harmful to sit through either. There's also a special that sees Zox teaming up with some of the Gokaigers and features a monster who wants abuse from female pirates that was so-so. Flint actually transformed in it, which was pretty cool. The most painful adventure of the movies was the crossover special with Kamen Rider Saber. That was a long-ass movie that just kept going and made no sense. And Evil Makai Knight has decided that the only way Garo is ever going to get recognition is by wiping both Super Sentai and Kamen Rider from existence. Gates Jin appears cosplaying as Shotaro Ishinomori, wanting to draw superheroes, only for him to find himself not happy with the ones he is seeing. The Zenkaigers and Saber Riders are whisked across time and space, where they made past Rangers and Riders with new identities based on various books like Journey to the West and Tale of the 8 Dogs. There is a really bad CGI room scene. All of the main Kamen Riders show up to fight in the final battle, while Sentai is an only Reds party. And Ishinomori happens to have a magical pencil that allows him to create whatever he wants while also using it as a weapon. Sounds like a certain Ninja Turtles adventure with a Jack Kirby character. Overall, this movie sucked. But it did at least have two great moments in it. The first being the way Vice appears. The second was Kaito using the Akiba Ranger gear. Finally, we've got the annual Versus film, which was not that bad. It was random, as is the Zenkaiger way, but it was a fun time. There's a wonderful scene of the Zenkaigers and Kira Major stuck in Barbecue World's restaurant, and they must devour all of the food on the table. The problem is, Barbecue World has one of the Grantor Stones that allows them to reset the table, which requires our team to come up with some interesting techniques to succeed. Lupin Red and Gokai Red make an appearance, which is technically the first time Zox meets Marvelous. There's also some movie exclusive forms. That's it. And Zenkaiger telling us that even the CGI in a higher budget movie can't look good. Zenkaiger is a very polarizing series. Nothing happens as far as the plot is concerned. Alternatively, it is fun. Thus, I am going to give Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger a 3 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. If you're just looking to watch some random episodes without feeling the need for an investment, Zenkaiger is the show for you. If you want something story-driven or villains that aren't complete garbage, go somewhere else. Until next time, bye! So our Saber movie features all our Saber riders. How many are there?
Kamen Rider Saber! Kamen Rider Blaze! Kamen Rider Espada! Kamen Rider Buster!
No, seriously. How many are there?
Kamen Rider Penta! Kamen Rider Slash!
It just keeps going.
Kamen Rider Saiko!
Kamen Rider Sabe!
This seriously can't be our main riders.
Kamen Rider Durand.